In this video, we're going to be taking a look at one of my recent mocks for the May the 4th Star Wars competition, and this is the Rebel attack on the Empire outpost. To start off the build, I started with laying down some plates for the base, adding different shades of blue plates on top for the water to add varying depth. Next, I added a whole lot of these 1x2 trans blue tiles to create that water effect. For the beach, I laid down a few tan tiles, and as you can see, I've used some of those corner tiles to add some of that realism. For the bank, I added more of these olive green tiles and a few plants, making sure to use hose pieces to add vines. For the rock work, I simply stacked up the dark bluish grey slopes and olive green slopes to create this rocky ledge like a small cliff. On top, I added a whole lot of olive green plates with some dark green plates behind. As you can see, running around the edge of the build, I added a black border, making it look cleaner and more professional. Next, I added a few plants to the top, laying down olive green leaf plates and adding olive green plant stems on top. For the outpost itself, I started with this angled facade based on a few hinges at the bottom, adding in the straight wall at the back before adding in the Rebel logo using snot techniques with Chewbacca graffitiing it on there. I added a small wall and build to the side to bulk out the outpost, adding details to the top using more snot techniques. Out the side, I've got a radar dish showing that this is a communications outpost, which is important for the story. This build is set on the island of Kashyyyk, Chewbacca's homeland, which is why I've added a Kashyyyk trooper over to the side. As you can see, I've used Viking and medieval parts for the torso and legs, since I don't have many Star Wars minifigures, and simply adding the helmet on top of the head makes quite a convincing Kashyyyk trooper without actually owning one. I added a few drops of paint and a bucket to Chewbacca to make the scene more realistic before adding in the trees. The trees are quite simple, simply rounded 2x2 bricks stacked up underneath a leafy canopy using a lot of leaves all connected together quite flimsily. On top, I added a bunch of dark green leaf plates just to add a bit of depth to the build and make it match with the colour scheme of the ground. Next, I added in a whole lot of vines. As you can see, a lot of them aren't really connected properly, but are simply threaded through the leaves to create this sweeping jungle effect. It would have been a lot harder to add all the vines properly, but I think this gets the job done. I also added some along the floor, threading them through the plant stems to create like a jungle canopy along the floor. Even though it might not be completely accurate, I added a few of these dark green pine trees to the base, and before adding a lot of vines, katanas, and branch pieces underneath the trees to add some variety to them. After all that, I moved on to the minifigures. We've got Luke Skywalker keeping a watch down below, and of course the Kashyyyk trooper over on the side with Chewbacca painting on the logo. After all that, I still had space at the front, so I added in a small boat with an extra paint spray can and some oars. I think the dark brown of the boat works well, even though it's a different colour to the rest of the scene. As you can see around the back of the build, I tried to close in the back of the outposts. Of course, some gaps I had to leave open when I couldn't quite fit padding around the components that hold that angled wall in place. But for the back, I mostly just added this large panel to fill in the space and hold the front upright, which was the most important thing, since the back of the build doesn't matter as much. After all that, I moved on to the photography, which we will take a look at right now. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and as always, I'll see you next time.